If you're like me, you love to eat chocolate. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about 5 healthful benefits of eating chocolate, and we're gonna debunk all those myths around it. If you stay with me until the end, I'm actually gonna show you a quick and easy recipe of a healthy dark chocolate bar. And it's organic, gluten-free, and dairy-free. Five health benefits of eating dark chocolate. Number 1, boost energy. So if you're trying to drink less coffee but struggle to get through the day without your caffeine hit, dark chocolate will actually be the answer for you. There's approximately 43 milligrams of caffeine per every 100 grams. And I found that a recent study from London's Kingston University also suggests that dark chocolate could be useful for athletes. Thanks to dark chocolate's ability to improve blood flow and in turn carry oxygen to the muscles at a faster rate, those involved with the project were able to cycle further and faster. So now you can skip those energy bars and energy drinks and try a little bit of dark chocolate. Number 2, improves brain function. There is a boost of flow to the brain created by cocoa's flavonols, which seems to make people feel more awake and alert. Number 3, chocolate makes you happy. Science agrees that chocolate makes you happy, and not just because it tastes amazing. There are chemical components within chocolate that makes it irresistible. And an organic compound, when released in the body, stimulates a similar feeling to that of falling in love. It's actually also considered a source of antidepressant when combined with the dopamine that exists naturally in the brain. Number 4, powerful source of antioxidants. Dark chocolate is loaded with flavonoids, antioxidants that have been shown in medical studies to offer protection to the vascular system, heart, and brain. Number 5, improves heart health. Regular chocolate eaters welcome a host of benefits for their hearts, including lower blood pressure, lower bad or LDL cholesterol, and a much lower risk of heart disease. One of the reasons dark chocolate is especially heart healthy is its inflammatory fighting properties, which will reduce any type of cardiovascular risk. Now let's get right into the recipe, where I'll show you how to make a healthy chocolate bar. First, let's go over the ingredients and the quantities that you'll need. I've got here organic cacao powder, and you'll need 1/4 of a cup. You'll also need 1/4 of a cup of grated organic cacao butter, 1 tablespoon of organic coconut oil. You'll need 2 tablespoons of maple syrup or any sweetener of your choice. And then finally 1/8 of a spoon of natural vanilla extract. The first step is to actually melt the cacao butter and the coconut oil. I'm going to show you briefly how I've grated the cacao butter, because actually it comes in chunks. I'll show you how the chunks look like. So if you grate it, it's easier for it to melt. They come in these type of chunks. Now if you can buy it grated already, that would be awesome. I've done it, and I have a mix of the 1 tablespoon of coconut oil and then the 1/4 of a cup of the organic cacao butter. So in order to melt this, we need to add it in this basically bowl. If you want to keep it here, or if you want to add it in another bowl, I've got this one here. It's a little bit deeper or steeper, and the reason why I have it here is because what we're gonna do to melt it is not put it in the microwave or heat it up in the stove. We're gonna put it in a container that is heat resistant, and then inside of a bigger container that is also heat resistant, where we're gonna put some warm water. The water doesn't have to be boiling hot, steaming. It just needs to be a little hot so that the coconut oil and the cacao butter can actually melt and turn completely liquid. So we're gonna put it all here, and you're gonna see how it starts to melt. And the reason why we want it to melt is so that it combines really well with the rest of the ingredients. So we're just gonna put it right on top of the water. Be careful so that the water doesn't seep into the container. That's why you want to have a container that is not only heat resistant, but also that it's a little bit deeper so that the water doesn't go in as you push it down a little bit. All right, so you can see here that it's starting to melt a little bit more. So we got a little chunk of the cacao butter, but that's okay. So we just continue to mix and submerge without putting any additional water inside the container. Now that we have the coconut oil and the cacao butter completely melted as so, we're ready to continue to add the additional ingredients. So first, what we're gonna do is add the maple syrup. Like I mentioned, is only 1 to 2 tablespoons. For me, I like it semi-sweet, so just to give you an idea, if you want it a little bit less sweet, then you can put 1 tablespoon, and of course, if you don't want any type of sweetener, then you can put just 1 tablespoon or no tablespoons at all. It's totally up to you. I love the taste of maple syrup. I don't like honey, so that's why I don't use honey. And if you use any type of sweetener, try for them to be liquid form so that it's easier to mix. Next, we're gonna add the vanilla extract. So just a quick tip about vanilla extract. Sometimes you find at the store it's got some additional ingredients that you don't need, so be careful with that. Try and find one that's natural. We're gonna use 1/8 teaspoon because it's very strong, so that's all we need. There we go. And then we're gonna mix this. Remember, you always want to mix your dry ingredients separate from your wet ingredients. And since the only dry ingredient here left is the cacao powder, we want to add that last. So now that we have that really well mixed, we want to add 1/4 cup of organic cacao powder. You don't have to buy it organic if you don't want to. It's up to you. I just like the taste. You can taste the difference. It's much higher quality. So before I learned how to make or found the right recipe for my taste at least of how to make a chocolate bar, I would buy these chocolate bars at the store, and believe me, they can get pretty pricey. So I thought, what are the odds of me just really making a really nice, easy recipe where I can modify the ingredients as much as I want, and of course at much lower price, and it ends up to be a bigger bang for your buck when you make things at home, of course. So I highly recommend that if you're somebody who likes chocolate, in addition to knowing about the health benefits of chocolate, if you're somebody that loves it, then it's so much better to make it at home. And you can actually, if you don't want to make it for yourself, you can make it for other people. Be creative. And for special occasions like Valentine's Day, you can buy a container that is heart-shaped, for example, and pour the mixture at the end in there. But if you don't want that, then you can put it really anywhere. So what we're gonna do as we continue to mix this is we're gonna pour it here. Now, depending on how thick you want your layer to be, if you want it to be thick, then you need to have a smaller container so that it could thicken up. If you want it thinner, then a bigger container would flatten out more. So that is completely up to you, but this one I find it to be a good size, and preferably square or rectangle so that you can cut it into pieces and not have any issues with portions or just basically grabbing a piece or so when you consume it. Now, before you finalize and pour it in the container, I recommend that you taste it just a little bit to make sure it's a good consistency and flavor. If you want it sweeter, that's how you know. For me, I've already had many variations of this type of recipe, so I found the sweet spot, and I know these ingredients and these quantities are perfect. So for me is right on. Now if you want it sweeter or more chocolatey, then you can adjust. And now what we're gonna do is finally pour it into the container. There you have it. You have now have in your hands a healthy recipe for chocolate. Guilt-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, and at a fraction of the cost of what you would buy in the store for something that may probably have more ingredients and more sugar and things that you don't need. So this actually could be an easy DIY gift that you can make for somebody else. Now, the last step is to close this container. You can also use a glass container, a plastic non-BPA container, or a plastic container is fine, as long as you have a lid that you can use to close it. And finally, the last step is to put this in the freezer for an hour, and then if you want to, you can take it out in the refrigerator. But for it to solidify, you need to put it in the freezer so that it remains cold. Then you can open it and cut it into pieces. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. And if you want more, since Valentine's Day is today, I'm gonna give you a recipe guide including breakfast, lunch, appetizer, and dinner so that you can continue to make healthy choices. I'm gonna put the link below so that you can grab it right away. And I want you to let me know if you like this recipe or any of the other recipes in that guide down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you know every time we post a new recipe, a new video, everything related to knowing how to live energized and feel vibrant. Until next time.